Okay, it's recording the lesson. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the new directives that has been shared with you all. Yes? Have you read it?
No te veo, Carla. Hola,
No,
ni puedo ponerme yo tampoco en la...
no hay problema, Yamile. Yo no prendí la cámara porque me dice todo el tiempo que mi conexión es inestable y si uno prende la cámara es como que se fuerza más la conexión. A ver si me cambio de Wi-Fi. Bueno, estábamos por comenzar a hablar de... ¿Hola?
porque estaba
¿Hola?
terminando de imprimir el link que nos diste.
¿Cómo imprimir el link?
Claro, o sea, digo el PowerPoint, perdón.
Ok.
Sí, que nos habías dejado en el blog.
Ok, bueno, vamos a hablar primero del acta, ¿sí? Que son las nuevas directivas que tenemos en el instituto de acuerdo a la organización y distribución de la materia y los trabajos. ¿Leyeron el acta o o comparto la pantalla ahora y lo vemos?
Sí, porque yo no la tengo, no sé dónde la subieron.
La debe haber compartido Pupo en algún lado, pero no hay problema. La comparto ahora.
Bueno.
Give me a sec. Okay. Share it. Good. Can you see? Can you see my screen?
Sí, pero no me... ¿Cómo? Ah, ahí está, ahora sí.
Ahora sí, teacher.
Good.
Sí.
Muy bien. Muy bien.
Ajá.
Bueno. Admiren. Bueno, cargos, espacios curriculares presenciales, ¿no están haciendo ustedes o sí?
No, yo soy semipresencial, Carla.
No,
Bien, bien.
yo también.
Semipresencial no tiene más de 2 trabajos mensuales de autocorrección, ¿sí? O sea que el 90% de esta materia en lo que resta del año van a ser trabajos de autocorrección, ¿sí? Todo lo que tenga que ver con allophones, yo lo explico, ¿sí? Y después ustedes practican las transcripciones de los allophones que vayamos viendo, los practican en su casa, obviamente, claro, sí, no se van a ir a ningún lado, obvio. Y ya les voy a dar yo las key, ¿sí? La idea, ¿sí? Es que lo hagan siempre primero, porque esa es la cuestión de la autocorrección, ¿no? Que la hagan siempre primero a conciencia, sin las key, y después se controlen, ¿sí? O sea, sin hacer trampa y hacer de entrada con las respuestas, porque si no, no está el esfuerzo mental, digamos, ¿no?
Sí, así es. Además nos engañamos nosotros, Carla. O sea,
exactamente.
Sin sentido.
Bueno, la modalidad también semipresencial tiene 2 trabajos integradores con fecha límite no menor a 3 semanas luego de la suba de consignas, el día que le corresponda al dictado de clases. Bueno, hay un organigrama al final del acta en el que dice qué días se sube material, ¿sí? Esto no sé todavía cómo hacer con respecto a los semipresenciales, porque yo ya tengo los días que ustedes tienen, que son segundo y tercer sábado. Así que veré. Bajo ninguna circunstancia se habla de acreditación de los espacios curriculares o examinaciones finales sin antes recibir los entornos normativos. O sea, aquellos que pretendiesen presentarse en agosto, forget about it. No hay mesas finales de agosto, hasta nuevo aviso. Todo el mes de mayo se inscribió nuevos estudiantes, bla, bla, bla. Que para los espacios curriculares cuatrimestrales se contemplará la extensión de la entrega de trabajos para los alumnos recientemente inscriptos. Sé que todo el tiempo se inscriben nuevos alumnos, ¿sí? Por lo que repito lo mismo una y otra vez, cada vez que alguien nuevo se inscribe, por si ustedes conocen a alguien nuevo que comienza la materia, me tiene que hablar por privado, ¿sí?
Sí.
O mandarme un mail, o como sea, para mandarme todos sus datos y que yo los agregue a la lista, porque si no son un número de teléfono X, que yo no sé ni quiénes son, porque hay veces no tienen fotos tampoco en el WhatsApp, entonces yo no sé ni quiénes son. ¿Cómo yo puedo evaluar a alguien que ni siquiera le conozco la cara? ¿Sí?
Sí.
Bien. Después, que de la totalidad de trabajos integradores que no llegasen a alcanzar los objetivos para cada espacio curricular, el 50% debe ser considerado en instancias de recuperación o reelaboración, que es más o menos como se vino trabajando siempre. Si tenemos 2 parciales, se recupera 1, si tenemos 3 parciales, se recupera 2 o 1, dependiendo del profesor. Si tenemos 2 trabajos integradores en la materia, 1 sí o sí se recupera. ¿Sí?
Sí.
Bien, que todos los puntos mencionados son de cumplimiento obligatorio, bla, bla, bla. ¿Alguna pregunta, chicos? Bueno, esto ya es para mí, para la suba de material. ¿Sí? Segunda y primera semana creo que tengo. Segunda y, a ver, no, ese es segundo, sí, segundo, a ver, segunda semana, segunda semana. Bueno.
Sí, la segunda semana.
Ok. ¿Alguna pregunta con respecto al acta, chicos? Chicas, porque I don't know if there's a boy. Sí, César. Hello, good morning, César. Elizabeth, good morning. Everyone, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
Morning, how are you?
Hello, I'm good, thanks. Hello, Lilian.
Teacher?
Such a pleasure
Hello.
to see you. Okay, Tamara, Julieta. Good, excellent. Okay, is there any question about this new schedule, these new normatives for this?
Teacher,
Yes.
where we can find this information?
I will share this with you through our group, through our WhatsApp group. I will send it, yeah. Pupo was supposed to send this info, share it with all of the subject of all of the years and careers. If he didn't, I will share it. There's no problem because it's shared information between you and me, and there's no issue with that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, awesome. Can we start with our explanation about allophones?
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
I need to, no, this is not, I want to disable the waiting room. Yeah.
What?
Okay, it's disabled, so everybody can join whenever you are doing it, and there's no problem. Okay, I need you to turn off your mix, and I will tell you when you can participate and answer something that I asked you, okay?
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, turn it off, and I start sharing the screen. Good. Okay, let's start with allophones. And the very first two that we are going to see is elision and assimilation. These two allophones belong to a property of phonetics, something close. Okay, I hope it's nothing. Okay. Can you hear me? Are you there?
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay. No sé, algo se cerró, tipo, okay, no sé, poner anything. Okay.
Estamos bien, teacher.
Okay, good, 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 good. Sí, sí, porque como no los veo, tipo, yo tipo estoy hablando a la nada. Okay.
No.
So these two allophones belong to a property of phonetics that is called devices of simplification. It's called like that because it helps you along with, for example, juncture and liaison. So there are two, four devices of simplification because it makes you speak smoothly, yeah, and acquire more fluency. Yeah, that's the purpose of these allophones. So the very first one that we're going to see is elision. Whenever this, okay, it is. Elision is the omission of sounds, yeah, either vowels or consonants when the syllable containing the sound is weak. This is compulsory to understand that in order to have elision, we need to have a weak vowel. Elision cannot be made in a vowel, in a syllable that is stressed or that is accented. It must be a weak vowel in order for that sound to be lighted. Okay, that is very, very important. And then we can define three kinds of elision. Yeah, we have historical elision, word internal elision, because it happens within the word. Yeah, and elision at word boundary, or you can also say connected speech. Yeah, word boundary and connected speech is the same. A group of words, phrases, or yeah, phrases connected. Yeah, it can be words, phrases, or within a whole sentence. That it's word boundary, yeah, or connected speech. Elision of vowels. Yes, this implies that only 3 vowels can be elided. Okay, turn on your, Julieta, try to turn on, okay, doesn't matter. Sorry, guys. No, this one, no, this one. Okay, elision of vowels can only be possible within words. Yeah, elision of vowel is not possible at word boundary. It is within the word itself, inside of the word only. And it can be vowel number 2, vowel number 8, and vowel number 12. The 3, I have the image here. Okay, okay. No, my computer, not. Mi compu los sábados como que se revela. Okay, you know where vowel number 2, 8, and 12 are. Yeah, the 3 are weak and centralized. Yeah, there must be short and weak. Okay, don't forget to turn off your mix so there's no interference. Elision of consonants. Yeah, elision of consonants according. Okay, no problem. Sorry. Okay, elision of consonant sounds. The book says, yeah, all this material is prepared according to Diana Finch's book. Yeah, you can read there everything about what I'm saying. Elision of consonants can only be possible yeah, can be possible, sorry, within word boundary are the only two possible consonants that can be omitted or dropped or elided are the voiced and voiceless alveolar plosive sounds, and there are these two, and I will show you later with the chart of consonants which are specifically those two sounds.
Yes.
And you must already have learned them, and you need to as well. I told you in the previous lesson that we need to learn the whole the three full features of consonants and vowels, because within the place and manner of articulation is the reason that every allophones happens.
Sí, sí. Yes.
All of the 85%, 90% of the allophones are based on consonant sounds and modifications to consonant sounds. So you need to learn or to study perfectly the three features of consonant sounds: manner of articulation, place of articulation, and voicing. Yeah, because if you understand that fully, you will get the reason that every allophone, the reason why every allophone happens. Okay, that's very,
Yes.
very important.
Yes.
Historical, yeah, okay. The first, I said before that we have three kinds of elision. We have historical elision, word internal elision, and elision at word boundary. Elision, historical elisions are sounds which existed in an earlier form of a word and are omitted in a later form. That means that for some reason those sounds were pronounced very in an ancient form of the language, and through the course of history and through the course of years, they suffered some modifications and got elided, okay?
Yes, yes, yes.
For example, here in horse, yeah, the approximant of the palatoalveolar approximant sound is it's not here because this is based on RP pronunciation, but for example, vowel number 12, the schwa is omitted here. It was never pronounced. I don't even think that you can pronounce it because you're not accustomed to see that sound. The same for yeah. The vowel, the schwa, sorry, the approximant sound is again dropped, but this is some kind of contradiction because you can pronounce it in American English. You say arm, yeah, show me your arm.
Yes.
It's like that. And for example, here in half is a clear example of that because the lateral alveolar sound was never pronounced. And if you do that, it will be wrongly pronounced. Yeah. Even in addition to this, you won't have it in the citation form or in the transcription in the dictionary. If you go to any dictionary that has the citation form or transcription of the word, you won't find the lateral sound there. Yeah, because it's not. It has been never pronounced in this current day. The same for the verb know. The same for this noun come or verb come. And the same for knee, listen. As you can see, there's no voiceless alveolar plosive sound. If you pronounce listen, it's wrong. It's wrong. It's listen. Yeah. And if you can also see, there's a little schwa in there. Yeah. That means that this schwa can be omitted and something, there's a modification that can happen to the nasal sound. Yeah. No problem with that. I will explain that later. And for last but not least, rec. Yeah, you can see that the alveolar approximant sound is different, but I will tell you that later again. Let's go to contextual elision. Contextual elision is, yeah, as the title says, is within a context. Yeah, we need a context that words contextualized into a longer chunk of the text. For example, contextual elision. So it's a sound which exists in a word set, yes, by itself, is dropped in connected speech. Yeah, if there's a sound that in the word itself is pronounced when we put together a set of words, or when we join a set of words or analyze a set of words, there are certain sounds that will be dropped, as it says here. Oh, sorry, what? Sorry, I touched everything. So, voiced and voiceless alveolar are generally elided when preceded and followed by another consonant. Yeah, especially when the following is a stop. We have already seen which are the stop sounds. Okay, we have already discussed that on the previous lesson, that we have been revising some concepts about consonant sounds. Of course, for everything in phonetics and phonology, yeah, there are exceptions to this. So for contextual elision, yes, we have two kinds of exception. This is a kind of exception, yeah, the first one, and this is another kind of exception. On the first kind, we have that is a tendency to retain these two sounds that are normally elided, yeah, as the rule says, but they are retained if they are before an initial glottal stop sound, yeah. For example, in guest house, yeah, even though you may heard or may usually feel that even you can pronounce it, or you speak it, or you say it like that, you say generally guest house. I include myself. I mispronounce it in that way because it's guest house. But the exception is arguably in that way because it's difficult to pronounce, because as you see, before the voiceless alveolar plosive sound, we have a voiceless alveolar fricative, okay? And later we have the glottal sound, so the voiceless alveolar fricative and the glottal sound has no interruption in the flow of air, so the air comes out freely. They are sibilant, yeah, they're sibilant sounds, because there's nothing that interrupts the flow of air, so everything comes out freely. So if you place a plosive sound in the middle, it will be that the air comes out, it has some point of interruption, will be in the alveolar ridge, because this is an alveolar sound, and then we will have another release of air with the glottal sound. So it's, as you see, it's awkward, it's difficult, it's not comfortable to pronounce guest house, yes. The same happens with sent home. The same, because this is a voiced as well as alveolar and is preceded by a nasal and followed by the glottal. The same can be found in the sequence nasal followed by the alveolar and the lateral followed by the alveolar. As you can see, all of these sounds, all of these sequences of sounds are alveolar sounds. That's why that we retain these two sounds, because they are preceded by another lateral and not any other kind of consonant sounds. But as you will see that later, those sounds, as I said before, they are difficult to pronounce. They are frequently replaced by this allophone that is called glottal replacement, and you will see that much later because it's some of the very last allophones that we see. And finally, the other exception is when we have the glottal sound is elided. Why is this an exception? Because the rule says that the two consonant sounds that are elided in contextual elision is the voiceless alveolar plosive, and this is a glottal. Yeah, that's why it's an exception, because this is not normally elided. But it can be elided. Yeah, in fact, we do it. When we speak fast, it can be elided in unaccented, non-initial, and we have the pronouns. Yeah, personal pronoun, the object pronoun, or some of the reflexive pronoun, and I'm running out of time, so I try to finish this idea. And then for the same for the verb have and all these three conjugations, and for this pronoun too. So if the preceding word ends in an optional, yeah, because it says optional, because if it's pronounced in RP accents, there won't be a final approximant sound, because RP tendency is to omit this sound almost everywhere. But if you pronounce it in American accent, it will be mostly dropped or elided. Yeah, for example, with a phrase like Peter himself. So everything that I'm saying has its transcription. So contextual elision, again, yeah, let's see some example. For example, in last time, we don't pronounce the final voiceless alveolar plosive, but we only pronounce the initial sound of the following word. So we don't say last time. We can pronounce it if we are speaking slowly, but if we try to speak faster, it's not possible, or there's almost no point in pronouncing it. Yes. So we say last time, only like that. Yeah, we don't say last time, yeah, because there's like two sounds like touching each other, and those sounds are the same, so there's no point in pronouncing them, both of them. The same for blind man. Yeah, we don't pronounce this final voiced alveolar plosive, yeah, because we have two nasals together. So even though they have different place of articulation, for X in, yes, exactly, Araceli, exactly. I will go to that too. In last year, no, for last year, Araceli and everyone, there's another rule that comes later, and I will go to that too. Don't worry about it. So for blind men, we have two nasal sounds, yeah, even though this is alveolar nasal, yeah, and this is bilabial, in the place of articulation, but in manner of articulation, that they share the same feature. So if we have two nasal sounds, what is the point, or which is the point of having one that has a different manner of articulation? The manner of articulation of this sound is plosive. So we have two, I don't know, it's like having two same sounds of the same kind, and we put something that is different, completely different. There's no point of having them, so you take it away because it makes more difficult to pronounce if you have it. So you elide it, and pronouncing those two nasal sounds together will be easier for you to articulate that set of words. Okay, I have 5 minutes. Okay, the same for fast day, the same for last talk, gosh, them, send to. Good. Okay, this is the exception that I was talking about. The first one said, remember that it's about the tendency to retain these two sounds which are normally elided. But those before if these two sounds are before the glottal sound, we retain it. Yeah, even though I said before it's more difficult to pronounce those three sounds together, because the same as I explained here for blind men, the manner of articulation of this voiceless alveolar is plosive, and the same, we have two sounds here that are not plosive. So it's, I don't know, it's difficult. It's difficult. Even though the theory says that it is like a tendency to retain, it's just a tendency. It doesn't mean that everybody speaks like that. Yeah, I don't think we pronounce it like that either. The same for sent home. And in retaining the voiceless alveolar here, this voiceless alveolar plosive, in these sequences, yeah, we have the nasal, followed by the alveolar plosive, the lateral alveolar, followed by the voiceless alveolar plosive. Yeah, we as well retain it, as in sent them, as in spoiled child. Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult to pronounce. So it's just to give you the theory. I just give you what the theory says. Then we analyze it if we use it or not, if people use it or not. And that's where we contrast what a theory says and what the reality is. Then there is the exception that I said for glottal sounds, which is not normally elided. It's not the normal sound for being elided. So we omit it in the pronouns and we say e, is, herself. We don't say herself, she went herself. We say herself, she went herself, she went herself, she went herself. Yeah.
Yes.
And then this is what I told you, that if the voiceless glottal sound is preceded by the optional approximant, this, you can pronounce it in either two ways. You can say Peter himself, in which this approximant sound becomes like a linking R, yeah?
Yes.
Or you can omit that approximant sound and pronounce just the glottal sound that is at the beginning of the next word. So you say either Peter himself, or you say Peter himself. You say
Sí.
Peter himself,
or
Peter himself,
self,
or you say Peter himself. Peter himself.
Peter himself.
Both options are possible according to the rules, always. So, any question so far? Because I stopped sharing the screen, and let's talk about any doubt that you may have so far. You can turn on your mix, please, and ask me if is so far been everything understood. Am I going too fast? Should I?
It's okay. You may continue if you like.
Good, good, good. What about the rest of you girls and Cesar?
Am I a girl too?
Oh, okay, welcome back.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
the man,
Good
it's
one.
like a shadow. I see it everywhere.
I feel like a girl. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Yeah.
Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Such a
Good
been long time.
morning.
Okay.
No
Everyone.
question.
Am I going too fast? Sorry. Do you need to for me to go back to some part that you may not understood? There's no need of repeating everything or some parts. Yeah. Are you sure?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Good.
Yes.
Maybe
Yes.
the trouble